All right, if everyone is ready, it's 5 o'clock and I can get us started. If anybody needs a minute, let me know.
All set.
All set. You're all set, Michelle?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to read the opening language, then we can do a roll call and move on from there. All right, good evening, everyone. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL Chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Easthampton Boards of Public Work will be conducted via remote participation. Can we have a roll call, Michelle?
Yep. Thomas Malsbury.
Present.
Austin Sanders.
Present.
David Fagnan.
Present.
All right, I will make a motion to open the Board of Public Works meeting for March 17th at 5 p.m. via remote participation.
Second.
Okay. Austin.
Second the motion.
Thomas Malsbury.
Yes.
Austin Sanders.
Yes.
David Fagnan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, first item on the agenda is public speak. We have no one joining us this evening, but I do want to tell the board I did receive one piece of email from a resident that was unable to attend tonight and just wanted to make the board aware and the DPW aware of certain provisions of the American Rescue Plan that was passed, and just hopes that we and the planning board can work together to go after any funds that may be available in that package for infrastructure or other related issues. So I believe Greg and I did talk about that the other day after it passed. I relayed that to them that it is on our radar and we will leverage what we can through DPW and planning. So.
And that's called the American Rescue Plan?
Yeah, it was the relief plan that was passed a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Second item is Mayor Speak. Mayor is not joining us this evening, so we'll move on to item number 3, approval of the March 3rd, 2021 minutes. Was everyone able to take a look at those as they were sent out?
Yes.
All right. Any issues? If not, I will make a motion to approve them as received.
No issues for me. No.
Second the motion.
All
Okay. All in favor? Thomas Malsbury.
right. Yes.
Austin Sanders.
Yes.
David Fagnan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. On to item number 4, our continued discussion of FY 2022 DPW budget and potential rate review. I did send out that spreadsheet I was able to put together yesterday, if you got a chance to look it over.
Yeah.
I more used it as a tool to organize everything I've been looking at from different sources, from DPW usage to municipal budgets and items like that. I think the one major takeaway from the usage point of view, which I had mentioned in previous meetings, is we're sort of outside the realm of normal water usage, based on the models we've used over the last few rounds to set our rates and whatnot. We've seen monthly increases anywhere from a few percent to 15, 19%, given the months. That trended, we had historically seen about 1.5 to 2% reduction in use every year, a sort of time bonds model. And the last couple of years that had panned out as true, and we were on track for that in FY20. But in the last 2 months of FY20, May and June, we had an increase of 15 and 19%, which kicked the annual usage up 2.5% over the year before. This year has been really pretty steady and that's similar. And even even if we started a reduction this month after the March billing period, we'd still see a 5% increase this year over last year. What that affords us is, we passed our, in June last year, we passed a increase to prevent a shortfall in the proposed budget, not foreseeing this atypical usage. So we are, rate fees from this year are going to be in excess of what we had projected with our rate increase, which, at first glance to me looks like will be able to carry us through FY22 with the budget that Greg's proposed. So just wanted to guys bring you up to speed on what I had been working on, and this usage isn't going to continue, and I'm not saying that it will, and it's going to carry us forever. And my actual worry is, when does it reset and how does it reset? Is this our new peak and we'll trend down at a historic 2% from this high point, or are we going to have a hard correction after the state of emergency and return to kind of where we were in FY20 and 19 for usage? The last two columns of that spreadsheet I sent were sort of two what ifs, a 2% from this high mark and a 2% from the year before, which would be like a 6.7% reduction from this year. Either way, both with our current rates, we would cover the FY22 budget as proposed. So, that's where I'm at thinking wise was, I'd like to kind of propose, I don't think we need anything, obviously we'll talk with Greg, but I don't think we need anything done for June of this year for the next fiscal year. I think we're okay with that. What I would like to do is, keep this as an ongoing process, sort of now that I have my head into it and these spreadsheets that I can work with and potentially work with Time Bond if we feel we need to. But I'd like to review it in the fall once we have the FY21 actuals and see how water usage and sewer usage are resetting. And, it also may be beneficial, and I think we only got out of sequence because of the shortfall that we voted right when a fiscal year happened, which was kind of hard because we didn't have hard numbers for where we're at budget-wise or actuals-wise. I think it may be beneficial to kind of do this off cycle with the budget. So we have the fall to work with the previous numbers, the winter to have public meetings, and then can have something in place in the spring to go into effect for the next fiscal year. So the rates will continue to reset on the fiscal year, but we'll have sort of a buffer half year to do process and work with hard numbers from the auditor and treasurer. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want to get you guys input on that and get some input from Greg. I know it was a lot to digest, but it's been mulling around in my head for weeks or months, and I've been pulling information from here and there. And yesterday, I finally had some time to dedicate to it, so I tried to coalesce it all into one or two documents for you guys to review. So I welcome any input on it.
Yeah, are there any theories on why the usage is up besides everybody's home?
That's my best guess is, we have more stay-at-home people than industry. I'm sure other communities are seeing the opposite, where workers aren't, I'm sure like Springfield and other cities
right.
like that have a large influx during the day are not seeing that usage. But Greg, do you have any input on that, or is it just kind of anecdotal at this point?
No, it's people being home. I mean, the kids aren't at school. They're home. They're using the bathroom at home, washing their hands. Plus the hand washing being up. But I mean, we're getting a lot of people that are getting higher water bills than they've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
people don't understand why, but it's really just because they're home all day. And a lot of people aren't traveling. A lot of the usage we're seeing is there's no usage at the schools. So it'd be interesting to look at. Well, it's hard to say. We can't tell where children live and where, put it right to one address. But there's nothing at the schools, and I'd be interested to see like how much the schools usually use and where that's going as far as residential.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's undeniable. The usage is, we were on track. I think, let me bring up what I had written for my own review for tonight. The FY21 budget, when we were doing the shortfall projections last June, we based all our numbers on 47.3 million cubic feet of water was sort of the baseline.
Yeah.
Right now, worst case scenario, I think the lowest we're going to pump is 53.1 million. So that's almost 6 million extra cubic feet of water that were not in our projections. And it wasn't in error that they weren't in our projections. That just did, I was doing that modeling in May, and we didn't see the first increase till the May water meter readings. So, and those first 2 months were an increase of 15% and an increase of 19% in the first 2 months of, reflected water bills after the state of emergency. So, it's anecdotal, but pretty definitive. So, and that extra, roughly that extra 6 million cubic feet at the combined water sewer rate is like 500,000, a little under 500,000.
Looks like a little under, yeah.
A little under 500,000 of extra rate fees. We'll go to our retained earnings, and it's good to get, that was one thing Time Bond wanted us to try and do, was over time build up our retained earnings to, with a city infrastructure like ours, he wanted us to carry 40 to 50% retained earnings, and this will get us back up into that threshold. So it's not a bad thing, but I also don't want to, go for another rate increase just to keep padding it, when we're doing all right. And the mayor's asked for a relatively flat budget. So, do you have any issues with that approach, Greg, or?
No, I'm with you 100%. I think it's, in a year, hopefully we're going to be in, well, a year ago, I thought we'd be in a different situation. Hopefully a year from now, we will be, and we can have a more open and a public meeting that allows for more input.
Yeah, we really do need to eventually revisit the potential third enterprise fund and how stormwater gets funded. It may also be a good time, like we had talked about previously, for at least thinking about completely different or more modern ways of collecting rate fees, whether it's it's not all through usage, or what some other cities are doing. I'd like to have that discussion all at once, if we're going to overhaul part of it, to see if it made sense to overhaul all of it. But for now, this is the system we have, and it's getting us by in this odd time. So,
Yep.
Well said. Yeah.
All right. So, if you want to digest this all a little more, we can leave it on the agenda for next week, or if we think we're in a comfortable position for now, we can take it off the agenda, revisit in the fall or sooner if need be. But that's up to you guys. I'm more than welcome to leave it for another round and let you guys look at these numbers and come back with any questions that I might not have thought of or not seen in the data. I'm happy to do that as well.
I think the second suggestion of having a bit of time to ask more questions is fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should look.
It's no harm in leaving it on the agenda.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also that way, if anybody watches this video and comes with any questions, it's an agenda item for the public to react to, since we don't have any public with us this evening.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so we will leave it as a standing item on the agenda.
Good.
And also, if you guys want any of the backup data for how I got that, I'm more than happy to zip it all up and send it. So this is sort of the distilled version of many other spreadsheets. Been wading knee deep in them. So the treasurer just sent me some more that I'd been asking for today. So I have some more actuals from the last 2 fiscal years. All right. We've all talked enough about rates for this evening. Suppose we move on to item number 5, Director's Report.
Well, today we had to make a repair on some drainage on a section South Street that we just paved just between the rail trail and Crescent Street. So we had a bit of a slope failure there with some water getting around a outfall and eroding the bank. So pulled a few guys together and got that patched up. With the rain coming tomorrow, just want to get something in there to not let that slope get any worse. So hopefully that'll hold up. We may have to do a larger job there in the spring once we can get blacktop, but we'll see what tomorrow brings with that. The fire department, the crews completed the repair of the trench drain along the front bays. Poured the concrete yesterday morning, so we're just waiting for that to set up and we get the fire department back to their normal operation of coming out the front of the building. We just got to give it 7 to 10 days or so for the concrete to set before they start driving the apparatus over it. The Main Street paving and Union Street reconstruction projects are moving right along. We're hoping to have plans and bid documents out to pave Main Street this year from Glendale to South Street. And Diane and Dan have been working a lot on that with VHB, and Diane's also working on the green infrastructure and Cherry Street work. And we did put an appropriation together for $60,000 to cover the design and bid document preparation for the replacement of the water and sewer utilities the entire length of Cherry Street from Holyoke to the end. As you guys know, it's important we get that work done before we move forward with any of the MVP green infrastructure work on the surface. So that'll be, hopefully the council will set a public hearing date for that. It's on their agenda for tonight to set a date for the hearing. So hopefully that'll happen. I think their next would be the 31st. So myself and Jeff will be there to explain the importance of that appropriation going through, so we can get the design and bid docs prepped for that in time to meet the CDBG eligibility deadline in May. So hopefully we'll be able to get CDBG funding for that work for the sewer and water main replacement there on Cherry Street. So, I will have item on the next meeting agenda for an update to our stormwater ordinance. Tracy from Ty and Bond will be joining the meeting to explain some of those updates and just some of the regulatory compliance that we need to deal with. So just to give you guys a heads up on that, that'll be on the agenda for the, I think our next meeting is the 7th, April 7th. So, and yeah, that's basically everything I have for tonight.
All good updates.
We're moving everything along as best we can. I'm really looking forward to having full crews back.
Do you have a timeline for that, or are you still?
Our plan right now is April 5th.
Okay.
Things keep trending the way they are. Most of our work is outside. I think we can have everybody here as long as they're following guidelines.
Great.
Another thing too, we got a lot of construction starting up. I know the gas company's got some projects they want to get to, and once their permits start coming in, I need to have guys out to go and help that work move along. So it will be helpful to get everybody back with spring construction starting. That's for sure.
That's all the business we have. Any questions on anything we covered or anything Greg brought up before we close the meeting?
I'm all set. I'm good.
All right. Then
Also all set. Yep.
All right. I will then make a meeting to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Second the motion.
Okay.
All in favor, Thomas Malsbury,
Yes.
Austin Sanders,
Yes.
Austin Sanders,
Yes.
David Fagnan.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening. Yeah.